Today's episode of Beyond the Gates takes the world by surprise. A shocking revelation and dark secrets revealed, all in an episode not for the faint of heart. Bill, with his absolute wealth and power, always controls everything around him like a chess piece in his hands. For a long time, he trusted Haley, the young woman he brought into his life. With somewhat blind trust. She entered his mansion with a weak, obedient and grateful appearance, causing Bill to not only open his heart but also open the door to his fortune for her to enter. But even though he may be softened by feelings, Bill's suspicious nature and cold reason have never completely disappeared. He always keeps a certain distance from anyone who approaches too quickly, too easily. And Haley, somehow, always had something that Bill couldn't quite figure out. That suspicion grew as Bill began to notice discrepancies in the stories Haley told. Little lies like coming from a poor rural area, or that her parents had died when she was very young, all seemed like perfect facades to hide something much darker. Bill didn't let his suspicions show. Instead, he quietly ordered his most trusted confidant to hire a team of top private investigators who handled sensitive and extremely discreet cases. He wanted to know everything about Haley, her past relationships, and any secrets she was hiding. Over the course of several weeks, investigators had been quietly collecting information everywhere, from her medical records, her school records, her travel history, her criminal history, to her audio recordings, surveillance cameras, and even her broken connections. When the report finally reached Bill, he couldn't believe his eyes. All Haley had ever told him was a series of carefully calculated lies. Her real name wasn't Haley. She had been arrested for financial fraud in another city, where she had seduced a wealthy businessman, bankrupted him, and disappeared without a trace. She had also been involved in a staged accident to extort insurance money, and, more terrifyingly, she had been living with a man suspected of being involved in a transnational money laundering ring. All of that past was buried by her with a fake identity, bleaching her background to build the image of a pitiful, innocent, weak girl to approach powerful and rich men like Bill. Bill's anger exploded like a fire that burned all reason. He felt insulted, betrayed and used in the worst way. In an instant, the entire image of Haley in his mind was completely destroyed. No longer a weak woman who needed his protection, she now appeared as a cold, scheming and dangerous opportunist. Without much thought, Bill ordered the bodyguards to immediately take Haley out of the house, forbade her from returning, and asked his assistant to cancel all the credit accounts and privileges that he had generously granted her. Haley's belongings were packed away in a few minutes, without any explanation. She was thrown out of the mansion's iron gates like a stranger, alone in the middle of the night, with only the bewildered and desperate look in her eyes as she realized how quickly everything had collapsed. But what chilled Bill the most was not just what Haley had done, but what she might have planned for the future. The secret actions, the secret calls, the unexplained trips all indicated that she had not just come to live in his world, but might be gradually manipulating it and preparing to collapse it from within. He could not accept that risk. And now, even though he had kicked her out of his life, he could not stop thinking about the possibility that Haley had left some invisible wound, a trap he had not yet realized. However, Bill did not know that Haley, who had just been cruelly pushed out of the house, had not yet given up. She sat in the old taxi, her eyes dark with anger and her heart full of calculation. Being discovered, being chased away. For Haley was not the end but the beginning of a deep revenge. She was not the type to accept defeat easily. When things fell apart, she always knew how to rebuild, and this time, she would return not to beg for mercy, but to tear apart everything Bill tried to protect. After weeks of complete disappearance, Haley reappeared with a carefully calculated plan. She began by approaching people close to Bill, from assistants, financial advisors to former business partners. Some of them had hidden conflicts with Bill, and it was there that Haley planted the seeds of betrayal. She provided confidential information she had stolen during her time with Bill, hidden bank accounts, investment records, informal financial arrangements. Everything became a dangerous weapon in her hands. Copies of contracts, sensitive recordings, and even private photos began to leak out, systematically destroying Bill's reputation. The media got involved. Shareholders became suspicious. Several strategic partners withdrew in silence. Bill began to feel pressured from all sides, but still could not trace the source of the chain of events. Until one day, when everything had reached its limit, a video was released on social media, recording Bill in a private meeting, discussing a shady investment deal that could potentially violate federal law. Immediately, the investigation agency was involved. Bill was summoned. The press surrounded the mansion gate. Everyone turned their backs. In a panic, he began to scan the entire internal security system and discovered a small camera installed right in the stone statue on the bookshelf, a place where only one person had ever been long enough to do so. That person was Haley. The final shock came when Bill opened the envelope that had been delivered to him in an anonymous black box. Inside was nothing but a piece of paper with a short but cold message. "You taught me how to play, but you forgot that I was always the fastest learner." Bill understood then that it had all been planned for a long time, step by step. Detail by detail, not a spontaneous act of revenge, but a manipulation of the highest order, carried out by the very woman he had once pitied, once loved, once mercilessly chased away. And Haley, from a distance, silently watched the live screen of Bill leaving the court surrounded by the press, her lips curling into a thin, cold, razor-sharp smile. The war is not over. This is just the beginning. Be sure to follow and subscribe to our channel to continue discovering the dark secrets, unexpected twists, and shocking developments that will follow in Beyond the Gates. The battle between trust and betrayal has only just begun.